Welcome back to UnKind TV, everyone. We're George and Martha.
Hello.
And today we'll be recapping The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 12, Episode 4, Love, Marriage, and Sour Peaches. Oh, wow. So we got this float thing. It was promoted so much. It was the cliffhanger.
No.
Last episode before that, it was like the coming attraction. Nothing happened.
Let's reenact it right now. I'll be Nene, you can be Cynthia.
Okay.
Hi.
You look very good, Miss Leaks.
Thank you.
That was it. And Cynthia said she had reverse Tourette's, which took me a minute, but I was like, oh, she means she wanted to unleash a bunch of swear words and insults and instead said all the nice things.
Yeah.
And Nene even talked to Noelle. She was like, oh, you're home for the summer? You know, I mean, it was tense, but it wasn't bad. She was cordial.
It kind of bothered me that Noelle had to ask her mom if it was okay that Nene spoke with her.
I can see why you feel like that, although I just think Noelle's really close to her mom and has loyalty, so she just didn't want to make her mom feel
uncomfortable or
whatever,
betrayed.
Yeah, like, I'm like that with my mom. I'm very loyal to my mom, and so, like, when people would have a problem with my mom growing up, I would kind of feel guilty being overly nice to them.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
So I think Noelle was trying to be, I mean, she is a class act, but...
She's trying to be diplomatic.
Diplomatic, yeah, and she just didn't want her mom to feel like she didn't have her back.
Yeah, I see.
But I like that Cynthia said, of course you could talk to her. She should talk to you.
She should. Okay.
That was good. We see Eva lean over to Cynthia and say, her lapdog's here. Meaning Marlo. I know she doesn't like Marlo. She's like, I have nothing good to say about her. She's a negative person. Look, Marlo won me over for being the Munty. Whatever people want to say about her, that she's this and that, she makes for great TV. She deserves a peach more than Eva does.
A peach more than Eva does.
And anybody that would take in children that they did not give birth to and take such good care of them cannot be such a bad person.
And allow herself to be called Munty.
That
takes a lot.
That's a lot of work to take care of someone else's children, and they're adolescents. Like, that's a rough
I know.
age. It's not like they're like, 8.
They were very well behaved when we saw them for the camera.
But I mean, I think they're like 12 and 13.
Yeah. Oh.
And mommy is mentally ill and away.
Which means they've probably been subjected to a lot of mommy.
Yeah, and they get resentful. I'm sure there's moments like no matter how good Marlo is to them, you always come back to that. Like, I took care of someone's kids for a week.
Did you?
Not like full time, but I did pretty much everything. Oh, they had their father at night, but all day I was with them. Oh. And it was fine, but then like something would go wrong and the kid first thing, you're not my mom.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Marlo's got to hear a lot of that. Anytime I had to discipline them, even nicely, like, okay, well then you're going to get off the computer if you're going to act like that. You're not my mom. I'm sure she's dealing with that.
Oh yeah, worse now.
And she's dealing with it because she loves them. And she knows that they're 12 and 13, and she's filling those shoes. Like,
they're lucky. They're very lucky.
She gets a pass from me. Whatever she said to Eva. Don't care.
I don't care about Eva. Whatever she said to Eva, it was probably deserved.
Cynthia talks about how she's so happy to be at Pride, mainly for her daughter. She's telling her daughter, take lots of selfies. She's like, it's just an amazing thing that Noelle just came out about being fluid, and she's now at New York City Pride. And that's something that she might not have had in a different era. And she's happy for her. And then Nene gets a talking head about Pride. And she says, it's so great because who knew the gays loved me so much?
And then she also said that she is a rainbow. I do not like the Pride flag, Martha.
No, why?
I just think it's ugly.
So Portia's in a session with Dr. Sherry. And she's very emotional about what Dennis did to her. And Dr. Sherry's encouraging her not to totally cut him off for the sake of the baby. She's like, well, that door may be open. And Portia goes, that door is bolted. Well, we know now. Not quite. You just got her that nice bag. Dr. Sherry is a big TV therapist. I'm not a fan of the TV therapist.
No.
Somebody wrote, I forget who it was, when will the housewives learn that you don't trust any therapist that's willing to be on TV?
And the last episode or 2 episodes ago, they didn't film the session with the same therapist, and I thought that was really great. I thought that was really cool because most sessions are filmed and I just think it's staged and it's not going to be helpful to anybody involved. But nope, they filmed this one with Dr. Sherry.
We had the one on OC recently, Dr. Michaela.
She wasn't terrible though.
She wasn't, but it's TV.
It's TV.
That just ruins your credibility as a psychologist.
I think so. And then how do you advertise yourself as seen on The Real Housewives?
Well, there's a lot of people that then trust you. They're like, oh, you're the one that helped Portia.
Or they want to further their careers. They want to be Dr. Phil or whatever.
That's why they do this. Yeah, to get more clients and to then get a show like Dr. Phil or a Yanla Fix My Life.
We need to be on Alanya. They're casting.
I think Portia would benefit a lot from her. Dr. Sherry seems a little too passive.
And Dr. Phil wouldn't be good for her.
Well, Dr. Phil doesn't count. Dr. Phil is a total bottom feeder jerk. I like Ayanla. She's had some issues as well. But my grandma loves her, so that show is on, like, the marathons all day.
I'm surprised Oprah forgave her. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do. I sure do. I just think she's better at getting through to people. Dr. Sherry seemed a little more hands-off.
Yeah.
Well, just saying for Portia, for PJ. Ayanla would be, like, really telling her off.
I like those therapists. It was aggressive.
She would be like, you knew this man had a history. You got pregnant anyway. You knew what this man was like. What are you doing? She'd get on her case.
I love that. That's what I love. Although my therapist did that to me today and I shut down.
I think you gotta have balance. I think you have to know when your client is in the right space for you to push it. If they're giving the signal that they're not okay.
And then you have to reel it in. Mine did that today.
What was she hard on you about? Can you say?
My gaming addiction. And I told her, Martha, when I first started that it was an issue. She's like, but just be mindful of it. And then as soon as I slept through our session, she decided it's the gaming.
Oh, it's the game. It has nothing to do with the game.
No. I mean, the gaming is a problem.
It is.
But there are other problems involved with this.
Alright, I have a confession.
What?
Last night I started playing a game and I stayed up really late.
No, Martha, what?
Forgotten Anne. Portia just agrees to be more open-minded and pray, and Dr. Sherry kind of nods at her a lot and uses her inside voice. And
I have to say, I didn't hear a lot of what was coming out of Dr. Sherry's mouth, only because of her Luann de Lesseps statement necklace. I want you to start wearing that.
No, I will not.
If I buy you something, would you... What if it turns out it's like, Martha, I spent like $1 million on this necklace.
Alright, then I might buy it, but I would really...
You'd have to wear it every day.
And then I find out it was a lie. You got it at Party City. Kandi and Kenya are talking motherhood. She says that Brooklyn is now crawling and that she's strong and she's a little Scorpio baby. Her birthday is actually the day after my birthday. So I can tell, Kenya, you and Mark are in for it with this child. I was not easy to deal with. To this day, I'm not easy to deal with. Out of all the kids,
I've heard stories, things that you said when you were 4.
She is going to hold both of her parents accountable forever. Scorpios don't forget anything. They have long memories.
That's not good.
Have fun with Brooklyn. Be careful what you do with Brooklyn. Kandi had the baby. Well, the surrogate gave birth. And people were being mean to Kandi because Candy's pictures are in the hospital bed. That is done because when you have a baby from a surrogate, they take the baby right away to bond with the actual biological mother. Because if not, the baby immediately starts bonding. Kandi starts sharing that she knows Mark is controlling, and she's like, I remember when you went to change Brooklyn, and he was like, you don't have to always be changing her, Kenya. And she's like, I know, because he thought she was relaxing, so let her relax. Sir, you don't leave a baby with a dirty diaper. Doesn't matter if the baby's relaxing. That's how the baby gets diaper rash. You don't leave a soiled diaper on a baby.
He's crazy.
He is.
Let her relax. And he's the one who doesn't think that she's up to the task of being the mother. I want to know what his kids are like, because he has other kids, or he has one other kid.
He's scary controlling. I don't like it.
Go away.
I want a gif of you doing that to send to my relatives.
Go.
Be gone.
Be gone.
Kandi shares about how she butts heads with Todd too, but I think she's picking up on how her issues with Todd are a normal marriage thing. She starts laughing in the talking head about, sounds like marriage. But I think she realizes Kenya's issues with Mark are not normal. And we've seen that. Kandi and Todd seem to have a much healthier relationship.
Yes, they do.
you know, Todd messes up sometimes. Kandi can be hard on him, but I feel like Kenya and Mark, it's a disaster.
I think Todd's my favorite house husband in general.
He's up there. Kenya tells Kandi about how it's Mark's birthday and she wanted them to go away and have a nanny there to take care of Brooklyn so that they could be intimate, and he doesn't want that. And Candy's looking at her like, what?
Yeah.
Not normal. What guy would not want that? My dad would have been so happy if they could afford a nanny to come with them to take care of the baby so they could have alone time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, forget it.
He's
But Mark
having
doesn't
an
want
affair.
her. Yeah, he is. Well, she said he had a ton of affairs on her.
I assumed. I mean, he goes out of town all the time. What a dirtbag.
Having reverse Tourette's, George?
Yes. Yes.
They're also commiserating about how men are in general. How, you know, they're like, well, we want our husbands to feel like the head of the household, but then they think they know everything.
Yeah.
And then when you correct them, they don't like it. That is true. I know it's a generalization, but in my experience, I think in your experience too,
Yeah.
that is the case most of the time, that the men don't like being told what to do. In my family, it's certainly true.
Is that, yeah.
Oh, I know quite a few men like that. Think they know everything. They know,
know nothing.
Their way is the best way, and then they're fools,
Yeah.
and then they come crying to the women.
Yeah, and then look at how their kids turn out.
Just remember who makes war. It's not women. Eva and Cynthia are out to lunch, and Cynthia was not informed that Marlo would be coming. So right off the bat, Eva's not happy. She's like, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go. I'm not going to deal with any bullshit right now. And Cynthia's like, well, you know, I'm not going to let any bullshit happen. And she gets a talking head where she says, Eva's the last person who should be missing a meal. I mean, she's pregnant.
Please.
That's the reason you brought her,
I
Cynthia.
think that's that's sketchy, Cynthia. I don't like that.
Cynthia, just...
Come on.
We know that there has to be drama and that people have to be put into situations with their enemies.
There
Why
really
make that
wasn't.
up?
There really wasn't any drama. I wonder how she felt about that.
Eva handled it well.
Eva handled it well.
Eva just got up. So then they order. This was shady. They show the cost of what Eva ordered versus what Cynthia ordered. Eva ordered the whole menu, and then they flashed $177 worth of food.
And then what was Cynthia's?
$44.
Yeah.
And that was with a drink.
Yeah.
The drink is like $20.
I know, the drinks are more expensive.
Marlo shows up right away. Eva's like, okay, well, I'm going to get up now. And Marlo's like, you don't have to go. First of all, what is Marlo wearing?
A window dressing. I honestly couldn't pay attention during this scene because I was just looking at it. Looks like an old school window dressing.
It does. The little curve.
Yeah,
the scalloped ones.
Yeah, the scalloped ones.
And Marlo says, we're a sisterhood. No, stay. And Eva's like, oh, are we now? I am on Eva's side with this. Eva takes her plate of food. She gets out. And Marlo goes, oh, I want some of that duck. She's like, okay, can we leave a little duck for her? Gives her the duck. Gone. She sits by herself at the bar enjoying her food. That's what I would do. No.
Cynthia was probably hoping she'd throw the duck at Marlo.
Now, I'm not saying I think she's right about how she feels about Marlo, because I don't think Marlo's as bad as Eva makes her out to be. But I side with Eva because Eva was ambushed.
She was, and that pisses me off.
You're so worried about her eating while pregnant. What about her stress level? At least tell her. I know we're on a show, so, you know, I had to have this arranged for some drama. Give her the heads up. She didn't give her any notice.
Yeah.
Marlo right away does start talking shit about Eva being a big liar. She says her biggest gripe with Eva is, why don't you just admit you're bisexual? Or you were bisexual? And why does Eva totally deny it? I do feel like Eva's dishonest sometimes. Like, I got that vibe from her whole house hunting thing. There's just something sketchy about everything Eva says. Like, the story never adds up.
No.
You know those people who always have a story and it just never makes sense? That's Eva. And I know where Marlo's coming from, where she just calls out and she's like, it just bothers me. Like, what's the story with this, and this? But she's talking crap about her. And then Eva in her talking head says, I want Marlo to jump off a bridge with her stories about me. Just stop focusing on me and just go. She does seem to have it in for Eva.
She does, but I don't mind it.
No, me neither.
We're shady.
We're shady
and
bitches.
I don't care for Eva one bit. Marlo needs a peach. Maybe I'm just confused as to why Eva has a peach and Marlo doesn't.
I'm confused by that as well. Don't get it. Marlo would be much better full-time.
Mm-hmm.
She basically is full-time. She's in every episode.
She's in every episode. I mean, what about, like, her home life? That would be interesting.
Maybe that's the reason why, because...
They're not allowed to be filmed.
She's notoriously private.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would she agree to be on the show at all then?
Because she gets the best of both worlds. She shows up for the drama, stirs the pot, but you don't go to her house. Marlo starts talking about her nephews and being a muntie. Apparently Cynthia didn't know that was going on. 2 martinis come, and Cynthia thinks one is for her, and Marlo's like, no, I ordered 2 for myself. I need it. 2 lychee martini. I don't like lychee.
No.
I just want a straight martini.
I just want like gin or vodka, even though I don't like gin.
I love gin.
Gin is what put me in my first rehab.
Gin is also what got me quite ill.
I stole it from my grandparents, and on my way home I was riding a bike, I got hit by a car, and all I could care about was whether the gin was okay. Cynthia
starts telling Marlo about Noelle dating a girl, and Marlo's like, how'd you take that? She's like, I'm fine as long as she's happy, and then Marlo goes, well, you tried out the cookie jar, look how you turned out. And Cynthia's like, excuse me? Like, don't mention that, but I wonder if that's true. I guess
I'm trying to envision it, and I can absolutely see it being true.
I don't really care, What's the big deal?
I want to know.
I want to know. I don't know why she would be so uptight about it. If my daughter came out, I would probably want to say, like, by the way, when I was younger, I did try it out.
Maybe she is ashamed.
That's sad. That is interesting because she's so happy that Pride is around for Noelle.
Yeah.
But maybe when Cynthia was going through that, it wasn't such a big deal.
Or maybe she got drunk one night and made out with the woman. And
I don't know. The way Marlo says it, I don't know. She got I think it was a little more than that.
Granted, I would be embarrassed to say I was ever involved with a girl. Keep your mouth shut. And yes, to Sherry out there watching, we are still together. Someone wanted to know if we were still together.
You're still the one that I love, the only one I dream of. That's
on our wedding day.
I think that we're going to get really old and everyone we knew is going to be dead and we're going to have a house together.
With all these fucking cats.
Like Felix and Oscar.
Yeah.
Marlo and Cynthia start talking about the drama with Nene, and, it's implied that Cynthia should be the one to reach out because she says she was mad about what Nene said about her on the radio show. And Marlo's like, well, you were talking about her too, and Cynthia says, why am I always the one expected to reach out first? And Marlo goes, that's on you because that's what you've always done for 9 years. So she does have a point. If you have established this pattern of behavior, you can't expect Nene to all of a sudden say, gee, I think I'll be the one to be the bigger person this time.
I would still be annoyed that Nene wouldn't decide.
I just feel like Cynthia was so busted at the reunion when they had the recording of her.
Yes.
Saying that she knew Kenya was coming and they were supposed to not know.
Yeah.
If I were Nene, I'd be pretty mad about that. I'm not saying Nene's innocent by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think Nene is totally wrong for being mad at Cynthia. Cynthia gets her hands dirty and then tries to pretend she didn't.
Yep.
Cynthia says she doesn't think that she and Nene are in a place to make up yet, and Marlo says she's going to go see her.
You just sounded like Gina. Oh my god.
What?
From OC. Make up yet?
Really?
Yeah.
Marlo's gonna go see Nene and she tells Cynthia she doesn't want to hear anything negative and she'll just shut it down if she starts talking bad about Cynthia. And Cynthia's like, who are you? I like this Marlo. And Marlo goes, well, I'm pregnant. And then they kiss and hug, and I couldn't tell if that was a joke. There was some gossip that Marlo was rubbing her belly and not drinking at some football game, but I don't think she's pregnant. I think we would have known by now.
She was also drinking at
Yeah, she just had 2 martinis, so I don't think she's pregnant. Portia's going back to work. I think that's very good for her. She's bringing PJ with her, which I think was a good compromise because she had so much anxiety about leaving PJ behind. Apparently, her assistant had to go get her car from Shamia's house, and she's stuck in traffic, and I was wondering why her car is there. Maybe she was drinking, and she took an Uber home or something? Yeah. Okay, glad to know she was being responsible. But her assistant had to get an Uber, so they're rushing out the door, and Miss Diane is there helping her out with the baby. Miss Diana, I love her hair with the lavender color. Miss Diana is so gorgeous.
I noticed that in the first episode of this season.
The hair was lavender?
Yeah.
It looked more blonde to me.
Or maybe it was gray.
Yeah, it was like a nice, platinum-y kind of color.
I did like it either. I liked it. Yeah, I like her hair.
Nene's at the Boathouse. It's a restaurant by Central Park. She's waiting for Marlo to arrive. She's sitting there yelling at kids for cursing, and it was so funny because she's like a crotchety old man.
Yep.
She's like, kids cursing. Hey, there's adults here. Get off my lawn.
It was a good Nene impersonation. Say get off my lawn again.
Get off my lawn!
That will be us. Get off my lawn.
I mean, it depends. I like good kids.
I don't like any kids.
Marlo shows up dressed for Studio 54.
My God.
Gold sequin jumpsuit.
And
Nene was funny. That was hilarious.
that was really funny. But once again, I'm upstaged by her costume or her outfit, mainly because her right tit looks like it's about to fall out.
Yeah, it is. It's hanging out. Nene goes, "We're at the boathouse. This isn't Studio 54,
Yeah.
bitch."
She's right.
She is. It is a ridiculous outfit. And Nene looks really good.
Nene looks so good.
Okay.
Best she's ever looked.
I don't know if Nene had work done, but she's been on Instagram posting these selfies lately. One with Wendy Williams. A lot of people said it's Facetune, you know, that app that changes your face for pictures. But I don't know. I think she might have gotten a nose job. Her nose looks different.
I think you're right, Martha.
Like, I can't tell how much of it is just contouring and makeup and angles. And
It looks like there's a... You know when
Thinner.
people get nose jobs, it looks thinner at the end of it?
Yeah.
That's what it... Either way, it looks good.
They start rehashing the Cynthia drama. Nene's right away pretty defensive, and Marlo is saying, you know, you were both wrong. And Nene's like, what? What? And Nene's like, it's not fair that Cynthia went on a smear campaign, you know, trying to get everyone on her side. She went on Kandi's YouTube channel. She went on different interviews. She was on Watch What Happens Live, and she said Nene feels she was painted unfairly, like it was all her doing and she was never a good friend. And she's very hurt. And then they show her Nataka and she starts crying, saying she loves Cynthia like a sister. I felt like you did. It was a little bit crocodile tears.
It's sad, though.
It is
very
sad.
sad.
But she feels like, okay, finally I responded in an interview about her after she did all this stuff. The food comes. Nene is freaked out by the way the calamari looks. I'm the same way. I'll only eat the ones that are like in the little ring shape.
Yeah, like the pig assholes.
Okay, what?
That's what it is. It's not actually calamari. It's pig butthole.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
To upset you.
That is disgusting. Ew.
Someone once told me that.
Okay, well, I like the little circle ones. I hate when they have the tentacles.
I love it. I love the tentacles. I love the texture. It's like kind of rubbery.
Stop.
I love gnawing on it.
Stop it.
I'm serious.
Ew, that's so gross. Marlo does a very nice grace. She says, "Thank you, Lord, for this octopus we are about to eat." It's funny, but then it goes ugly again because Nene is not having it. When Marlo's kind of getting to the point where she feels like Nene should reach out, Nene's like, "I'm just going to stop you. Thank you for doing this, but as a friend, I'm telling you, it's personal. It's not going to happen." In the trailer, there's this big showdown where Cynthia walks up to Nene at the bottom of a staircase and she's like, "We need to end."
Really? In this upcoming episode?
I have to say, this show's getting a little bad. It's still, at its worst, better than Beverly Hills.
Or OC.
But a lot of the music is super dramatic.
I know.
We need to end this.
It's like a
Soap opera. Yeah. Nene tells Marlo, you need to stay out of it. And Marlo goes, okay, but don't you feel like, at the very least, Cynthia deserves an apology for that? Marlo, once she said stay out of it, you should have said, okay, all right, sorry about that. I'll keep my mouth shut. But she keeps pushing her. Nene's like, wait a minute, she deserves an apology for me, so you're saying I'm supposed to apologize and then be made to look like the one who was in the wrong.
Yeah.
That's Nene's big problem with it. I don't think Nene just doesn't want to apologize. I think she feels like if she apologizes, she's validating everything Cynthia said about her. If she's the one who goes, yes, I'm so sorry for what I did, then Cynthia could say, that's right, see, she's sorry for making everything about her, and Greg's cancer was about her, and she did say some harsh things about Nene. I can see why Nene's like, no, I'm not going to be the one to bow down over one interview and be made to look like the one who was wrong about all of this and I wasn't a good friend. Marlo just sits back and she's like, you're crazy. You're so crazy. And Nene's like, oh no, I'm dead serious. I'm not going to be made to look like this. And she gets up and leaves. And she's like, where are you going? Don't go. This is so funny.
This is my favorite scene of the episode.
So Marlo follows her out, but before she catches up with Nene, she says to herself, she's like, God, I need therapy just to be their damn friends.
I know.
That's how I feel about you.
I had the same thought.
So she chases Nene on the street, and she's going, Leeks, don't leave me, Leeks! Leeks, don't do this to me! Nene gets in a pedicab in Central Park, and she's like,
Take me to the street.
Take me to the street. Take me to the street. And she's like with her hair to the side, you know, like the princess, like Cinderella and the coach.
Yeah, she is.
Leeks, don't do this! She takes off. Just leaves her standing there in her gold jumpsuit.
That was so good.
I know, and then Marlo just goes, wow, she's so crazy. Get out of your feelings and get into your faith. She is crazy.
But I felt like they ran off without paying the bill at the restaurant.
I'm sure production covers those bills. That's probably why Eva, whenever they're filming, orders the whole menu.
Yeah.
Eva does not have to pay for any of that food. There's no way.
I don't think I would.
She's
be
taking
able to-
advantage.
Yeah.
She's probably like can't pay her bills half the time. So then when they're filming, she's like, "Oh, I'll have this.
Yeah.
And this. I'll have it all to go.
Yeah.
And I'll have seconds. Thank you, please. Oh, I think I'll have a side of this. What was that? Remember at OLG?
Yeah.
Kandi and Todd bring Ace to the surrogate's sonogram ultrasound appointment. Ace is so excited. I'm in love with Ace. You're annoyed. I know. I can't help. Every time he says something, he's just so... I want to kiss his little face.
He's cute, but I think he knows he's cute, which is obnoxious.
No, he's so sweet. He's like, I'm so excited for my baby sister.
Yeah, who says that?
A cute kid. He's a loving little boy. He gets a lot of love from his parents. Something you wouldn't know about.
Oh, bitch.
I love you.
Oh.
And the cats love you.
Do they?
I saw Blanche went like this to you.
Blanche, yeah.
It's kind of jarring to Kandi how this whole process is going to go. Because they're explaining to her, like, listen, in the hospital, the baby comes out. You or Todd can cut the cord, and then you get your own room as though you gave birth. You stay in the hospital, your clothes come off, and you hold the baby like you gave birth to it. And that's it, like, bye-bye Shadina. And I think Candy's like, that's so final. Like, I didn't know. Okay, thanks for carrying the baby. Get the hell out.
I wouldn't do that. I don't think I could do that. I couldn't
either.
Unless, maybe there's, like, some contract they signed, or...
I guess maybe they need the boundaries. I guess you would need to have really strong boundaries with that because, some people are crazy and they're like, that was my baby.
I know.
Shadina seems very well adjusted. She's very professional about it.
She must have done it a few times, right?
Yeah, I think this is not her first time at the rodeo. But I think they feel like she's done so much for them and they're like, we're just going to kick you to the curb. But she's like, it was a job. Like, that's it.
She's
a
probably
well-paying
good.
job.
She's probably good at giving birth and then just moving on.
I would feel like I need to ask her, like, how are you recovering? How are you feeling?
Oh,
I'd be sending her things.
You'd be like best friends, texting, and she'd be like, get this woman away from me. And then she'd be like, maybe I should take the baby back. I don't know if I want it in this woman's house.
I would feel bad. I think Kandi feels like
I would too. I mean, I don't think I'd be friends forever, but I'd like to just see it through to its like natural end rather than just bye.
In the middle of this chat, Kandi gets a disturbing text message from Kenya. It really freaked me out. I'm really upset right now. Can you come over? There's no like, hey, do you have time to talk? Or
Fatal
like,
attraction.
When you have a minute, could we chat? Or like, are you busy right now?
No, it's Glenn Close.
I mean, Kandi is a busy woman. It's not like this is her friend who lives around the corner with nothing to do.
And earlier in the episode, they were just together.
I mean, I think that was at a different time.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess so.
These could be filmed like a week apart.
Yeah.
She knows Kandi has a baby coming. She knows Kandi runs all these businesses and has a son and is married. Like, it's not like she's the type of person who could just drop everything and show up. I'm really upset right now. Can you come?
Oh.
So then they're leaving and Ace tells Shadina, the surrogate, oh, this is so sweet. Take good care of my baby sister. Come on. That was so sweet. And she's so good with him. She's like, I will until she comes and then you take care of her. I'll keep an eye on her. She's a nice lady. So then they're leaving and Kandi tells Todd that she has to go and he's like, why? Oh, she's like, Kenya's just texted me. She's really upset about something.
This is like the inciting incident of a crazy stalker movie.
That gave me such a bad vibe.
I know.
That message, I was like, oh, no, say no.
And having to, like, she was embarrassed to tell Todd.
And Todd looked really irritated by it. You're texting her while she's in the appointment with her surrogate?
It would bother me.
Portia is so happy she went back to work. Her first day back at Dish was a big success. She's like, wow, I didn't think about Dennis at all. I want to work all day, every day. Everybody tried to tell her that, but she had to be ready, She said her job is basically to talk about everybody else's tea all the time, and she's glad that, like, the subject is finally not her and her problems. And she's outside telling her sister and her assistant how it went, and she has PJ there. She's so happy that they put PJ on camera, and she's like, they didn't even make me give her back. They wanted her for the rest of the time. And she says she needs a nanny because Miss Diane is going back to work, and so now it's just the two of them, and she has to work herself. And she says that the father's very involved, but she talks to him all the time, and so she needs somebody who can be both a good nanny but also something of an intermediary between them, so she doesn't have to be talking to him nonstop. She says she's had a lot of nannies that she didn't like nannies that just want to talk to her, or nannies that don't really do the job well, and she's like, go watch the baby. But
I had a nanny that would eat mayonnaise out of a jar. I had a nanny who burnt down my grandparents' house.
I'm sorry, what? How did that happen?
She's an alcoholic. I had a nanny who...
What did she do? How did the house burn down?
We don't know.
She was alone in the house?
Yeah. Actually, you know what happened? Oh God, I feel really bad.
What?
I went snooping around her room one morning with my friend when she wasn't home, and I found a picture of her holding a man's genitals. And I showed it to my father, and he freaked out and kicked her out of the house. My grandmother took pity on her, let her go into her house. My grandparents weren't living at that house at the time, and she burnt it to the ground. I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I had one who would fall asleep in the bathtub.
It isn't your fault, by the way, that she got kicked out. She shouldn't. When you're nannying children, you can't have inappropriate things around.
No, and it's not your house. You're staying there. Oh, and then there was one, they called her Powder. And I didn't know, I was so young at the time. I thought, oh, she's blonde? Or she uses a lot of powder on her face? I have one that
was the powder a reference to cocaine?
That's what I assume. I have one who's now my stepmother.
The perks of growing up wealthy, huh?
One of them molested my sister, though, so...
Wait a minute, what?
We think. We're not 100% sure.
I thought that was someone else. I thought it was someone, you said it was a friend of the family.
He was a nanny. Rob later died of autoerotic asphyxiation, so I feel like that
He was
says
a
it
pervert.
all.
When Kandi first gets to Kenya's house, it's a little strange because Kenya's in a great mood.
Hello.
Hi, want something to eat? Hey. But that text made it sound like Kandi was going to walk into a scene.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, she got pulled away from her family to go see Kenya, but Kenya's fine.
I will say, I think Kandi is a good egg.
She is. I like Kandi a lot. They start talking about breast reductions because they both have really, 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 really big girls. I can't relate to that, unfortunately. You must have been loving this conversation.
I just think it's interesting because ever since my passion for breasts, I've noticed Kandi's in particular, and I've always thinking like, I wonder if she'll ever get a breast reduction. And then here we go.
It is hard. I know.
I think because it was like the second episode, I saw like they were like being strangled by her bra. It hurts your back too.
Everyone I know who had that done said even with the surgery, it's still not 100%. It really does take a toll. Kenya says that she went to get the breast reduction consultation and that the doctor pushed her nipple and milk came out and she had already stopped nursing for 3 months. Guess that was a little detail we didn't really need, but we got it.
Have you ever tasted breast milk?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
What, your mother's?
Yeah,
I mean, like, you know.
My mom had, yeah, whose would it be?
As an adult.
Yeah, my mom had my little brother when I was 15 and I used to, give him the bottles of her milk and I just tasted a little bit one day. I mean, I was raised on it. It's my mother.
Yeah, but you don't remember it.
But we drink cow's milk, right?
I don't.
I don't anymore. I completely cut it out. You'll have milkshakes, though, and ice cream and dairy products.
I will, but plain milk. Ugh, my friend is coming, the one who used the whole tube of toothpaste when he was here for 2 days, and he likes to drink a cup of milk before he goes to bed. It's disgusting. I don't even like it in the house.
Well, my point is, a lot of us consume
dairy
products or milk itself that comes from an animal,
yes,
and then we're grossed out by the idea of trying your own mother's...
Yeah, it's like cannibalism.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Same thing.
It tasted a lot better than cow's milk.
What, like sweet?
Yeah, it had like a vanilla flavor. It really did. It was good. I literally like took the tip of the bottle. I was testing the temperature.
Yeah.
You know, when you warm up a bottle, you have to test it on your hand so you don't burn the baby.
Yeah.
Then I made cheese from it.
Wow, impressive. Now, did you also save the placenta? Do you still drink that in milkshakes?
No. The breast conversation turns to the subject of intimacy while pregnant, and Kenya says that at a certain point, as she started to get more and more pregnant, Mark was just freaked out and didn't want to touch her. And Kandi's like, oh, well, my sex life kind of took a nosedive, but then it went right back up again after the baby. And Kenya's looking at her like, that's not the case. There's nothing going on. I think these people haven't had sex in since before the baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Kenya's telling Kandi that she took an anniversary trip. It was her anniversary with Mark. She went by herself with Brooklyn because Mark didn't want to have a nanny there to take care of the baby so they could go out at night. That is insane. That is so sad. They even show the picture she took on the beach with the baby. She is very lonely. I think that's the real reason she wanted Kandi to come over. She's a lonely person. That house has a very sad feel to it. Like there's no love in it. This is when Kenya starts to unravel a little bit, and she says that the arguments that she and Mark are getting into are just really ugly, and that he crosses the line when they're arguing. Kandi says, well, I sometimes will say things to Todd that I don't mean. A couple of times I landed a few blows to his ego, and then Kandi goes, do you apologize after you say that? And Kandi says, I'll apologize for hurting his feelings, but if I meant what I said, it's hard to take it back. And Kenya says, oh, you and Mark are similar in that way. I don't think they're similar at all, because Candy's a loving person. That Mark is like a narcissist, controlling monster.
Scary.
Yeah, and she goes, I don't know, I think I'm more willing to compromise than Mark is. And then they show Kenya on a talking head, and the producer's like, what are the kinds of things that Mark says to you, and what's his tone? She goes, I can't revisit that. Back in the scene, she's telling Kandi that he has this alter ego straight from hell when he's angry. That's disturbing.
Do you think like physically abusive or just emotionally?
Emotionally.
Yeah,
I think he's... Because Kandi says, he must have said some bad stuff to you. He must have said some mean names or something, because the way Kenya looks, and she won't repeat it.
I can see it. I can see it and hear it for some reason.
Yeah, I can, because we've dealt with people like that. It's one thing to have like a bad temper, but I know those people that when they're angry, they're like Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Kenya says there's like basically a communication breakdown, and then she tells Kandi, I'm not a fighter, and Candy's laughing, and they show Kenya at her worst, the montage of all the Kenya being scrappy moments. Yeah, for her to say that was kind of delusional. I want peace. I'm not a fighter. Yes, you're a fighter, but with this guy, for some reason, she's very submissive. I guess because she's desperate for it to work. Yeah,
you could tell from that in that scene when she's trying to cook breakfast. It was very uncomfortable, very sad.
Kenya starts to cry because she says she wants to, she's holding back so much because she doesn't want fights to escalate, and that she wants to protect Brooklyn from it because she was the little girl that was never protected. I got choked up because that's Kenya. Kenya and all her behavior is a little girl who was never protected.
Yeah, I feel bad, but I get crazy from her.
She is crazy. 100%. She's a mentally imbalanced person, but I can't help it. I cannot help it. I feel for her deeply. Kandi says, I didn't know this was so bad, that she feels like the marriage is toxic to her daughter. That's another level of marital issues. I don't know what's going on now, because the reports about Kenya and Mark are very conflicted.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't look good. We know, even if they try to work it out, it's not going to happen.
It's done, and good riddance.
And good luck, Mark, because that little Scorpio baby.
That's it.
Next week looks interesting. I'm glad, because this has been a little slow. I think it's going to pick up next week.
I think so.
I'm excited. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. We appreciate everything. We really, really do. You can find us on social media, at Instagram and Twitter at UnKind TV. I get back to people through social media a lot, so
and somebody
reach out.
Told me I was nuts.
Bye.